A view is a selection of columns shown in the display area. Views are used in all reports and most of the maintenance screens. The views can be selected by using the View drop-down. As you can see, there are many views already created on this screen. You can select a different view by simply clicking on it. You'll see here I've selected Price Number 1 view, and it is showing me all the sizes for price number 1. Here is a different view. This is the price for all different stores. As you'll see, the views that I have on this list all start with an underscore. These are standard views that are shipped with the system. You cannot delete these views, but you can modify them for your own use. To edit these views or to add new views, we use the View button. Clicking on this shows us the list of the views that are in the system. Here we can add, edit, delete, and select a view. To edit a view, simply highlight it and click on the Edit View button. This is the standard View maintenance screen. On the left is a list of all the possible columns that we can include in this view. On the right is a list of the columns that are already in this view. Across the top we see a name and description and 2 flags. We'll look at these flags a bit later. Down the centre of the screen we see 3 buttons: Add, Remove, Add Percentage of Total, and Add Formula. The Add button enables us to add columns from the left side to the right. The Remove conversely removes columns from this view. We'll look at that a bit closer now. If I highlight a column on the left, click the Add button, it will automatically appear at the bottom of the right-hand list. This means it will be the last column on the report. Alternatively, I can highlight a column using the right mouse button, drag it across to the right-hand side, and drop it anywhere I like within that view. Additionally, if I'd like to move a column within this view, I can simply highlight it with the left mouse button and using the right mouse button drag it to where I wish it to appear in this view. Let's have a quick look at what this view looks like on the screen. I click OK and either double click the view name or highlight it and click Select View. You'll see now that this view has been shown on the screen. You'll see the new columns that I have added here and here. Let's now add a new view. Click on the View button, select Add View, and now we have a blank view for us to create. We'll start with a name. Then we need to select the columns if we wish to appear in this view. As I add the columns, you'll notice it is being flagged in the Used column. This is a reference so I know that I've already added this column to the view. If I scroll down, you'll see there are many columns that I can add to this view. Some of the reports can have many hundred columns that I can add. This one, for instance, has a substantial number, thus underlining the power that the views can give you. As we've gone down, we see that some of the columns have a flag in the Totals column. This means that in the report there will be a total at the top of the report for this column. We'll continue adding our view. We can highlight multiple columns at the same time and add them all at once. This is the report that I wish to see. You'll see that now it appears at the bottom of the list. And this is my report. I can also select it out of the drop-down. Now let's look at views in a report. We'll go to Till Summaries. We'll ensure we have data to display, and we hit the Display button. You'll see that this is the standard view. If I look at the views available, this is a list of all the views that come standard with the system. They all start with an underscore. There are many different reports that I can show. Or I can create my own view. Same as before, we go into views, we add a view, and then we add the columns that we wish to have in our view. We'll start with the name. Now we just simply add the columns that we wish to appear in this report. These are the columns I wish to see. I click OK, select my view, and I have my report. If I'm happy with this report, I can now just simply print the report. Let's now add a few more columns. We go into the view, we highlight it, click the Edit View, and we see the columns that we have in this view. I can go down the list of columns available, and I can add more columns. As you see, this report also has numerous columns that I can select to add to my report. If we look at the right side of the screen, you'll see there are 5 bits of information I can set for each column that I add to the report. The first one is a sort column. I can change the default order of the sorting. If I click it once, it can be ascending. Click it twice, it goes to descending. Click it again to turn off the sort. I can have multiple sorts within one report. The next thing I can set is the hide flag. I can hide columns from the report, but still have them adding into a formula. We'll look at this closer when we look at formulas. The next column is chart. I can determine which bits of information will appear on any chart that I display. Let's try that now. Let's say I want to chart the difference between the sales at the till and the account sales at the till. So I want to have the account turnover compared to net total. In fact, I'll move it up next to net total using the right mouse button. So only these 2 columns have the chart flag turned on. Once I show that report, and I can change the report to how I want to see it, and I hit the chart, I now see the chart that I have told it to show. Let's look at another example of this. This time, I'll just show net turnover. If I hit the chart, the system, now seeing there is only one column I'm charting, automatically shows it as a pie graph. I will now turn off the legend and print my report. Okay, let's look back at the view and see what other options we have. You'll see the next thing I can set is the pinned. This is useful if you have a report with many columns. It will ensure that any column that is pinned will always be displayed, even if you scroll across the columns on the report. Let's have a look at this. We see the name is pinned, and here is our report. If we scroll across the report, you will see that the name column is always shown on the screen, making it a lot easier to see what the other columns refer to. Whilst we're displaying this report, we can also pin more columns. We can click on this pin button, and you'll see that now that column has been pinned. However, it will only be pinned whilst this report is being displayed. It will not save this setting unless you go into the view, edit the view, and turn on the pin flag. Then, any time in the future when we're showing this report, those 2 columns will be pinned. Let's look back at the view again. You can see the last thing that I can set is an override text. This is useful if you wish to rename a column that is in a report. The name of the column is account turnover. However, I wish to see it as account sales. Now, that column has been changed to account sales. I can change all the names of all the columns in any of the reports, thus adding another layer of customization to my reports. Okay, let's see what else we can do in the view. Let's remove some of the columns that we already have in this report, and we'll look at the add percentage of total. What this will enable us to do is add another column that shows us another column's total as a percentage of the overall total. That is, if I highlight profit amount and click add percentage of total, it will add this column for me, automatically add it to the chart, and you'll now see that the column that is displayed shows the percentage of profit amount for each individual store as a percentage of the overall profit in all stores. You'll see here that in Auditorium, that's 19.81% of the overall profit achieved for the whole venue. That concludes this video on the basic use of views. There are other videos in this series covering filters within views and also adding formulas to views.